Have you ever wondered what would happen if our oceans ran out of fish? Imagine a world where the vast blue oceans, once teeming with life, become eerily quiet and barren. It may sound like a plot from a dystopian novel, but it's a grim possibility we face today due to overfishing. So what exactly is overfishing? In simple terms, it's the practice of catching fish from the sea at rates too high for the species to naturally reproduce and replenish. Picture a fisherman with a net so wide and deep, it scoops up not only the mature fish, but also the young ones that haven't had a chance to breed. This is overfishing. But why does it happen? The causes of overfishing are manifold. Our global population is growing, and with it, our appetite for seafood. Technological advancements in fishing gear and techniques allow us to catch fish faster than they can reproduce. Lax regulations and poor enforcement in some regions also contribute to the problem. Overfishing is a global concern, and for good reason. It's not just about the fish, it's about the entire marine ecosystem. Fish are a vital part of the oceanic food chain. When their population dwindles, it disrupts the delicate balance of life under the sea. Predators lose their prey, and species lower down the food chain proliferate unchecked, leading to unpredictable consequences. The ripple effects of overfishing extend beyond the oceans. Many coastal communities depend on fishing for their livelihoods and food security. If the fish disappear, their way of life disappears too. But it's not all doom and gloom. Overfishing is a human-made problem, and with conscious effort and collective action, we can turn the tide. Now, let's dive deeper into the data and statistics to truly understand the gravity of the situation. The numbers paint a stark picture, but they also illuminate the path forward. As we navigate this journey, remember, every wave starts with a single ripple. And that ripple could be you. Numbers don't lie, and the numbers about overfishing are alarming. Let's delve into the stark statistics that give us a real sense of the overfishing crisis. What we're about to share isn't easy to hear, but it's essential for understanding the gravity of the situation. The global fish population is in dire straits. According to a report by the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, nearly 90% of the world's marine fish stocks are either fully exploited, overexploited, or depleted. That's right, 9 out of every 10 fish species are on the edge. Now let's consider the speed at which these fish stocks are being depleted. It's not a slow, gradual process. It's alarmingly rapid. For instance, the Atlantic bluefin tuna, a species highly prized in sushi markets, has seen a drastic decline. Its population has plummeted by over 70% in the last 4 decades. Imagine, in less than half a century, we've lost nearly 3/4 of this magnificent species. And it's not just about the fish that we consume directly. Overfishing also threatens the smaller, less well-known species that form the base of the marine food chain. Take krill, for instance. These tiny creatures are a crucial food source for a myriad of marine animals, from fish to whales. Yet they're being harvested at an unsustainable rate to feed farmed fish and produce omega-3 supplements. What about endangered species? Well, the numbers there are just as concerning. The International Union for Conservation of Nature has listed over 1,300 marine species as threatened or near threatened due to overfishing. That's a staggering number. It includes not just fish, but also marine mammals, birds, and reptiles. Overfishing doesn't just deplete fish stocks, it disrupts entire ecosystems. Coral reefs, for instance, are particularly vulnerable. Fish play a vital role in these vibrant underwater cities, controlling algae growth and providing nutrients. When we remove too many fish, we upset the balance, leading to the degradation of these valuable habitats. And remember, these statistics aren't just numbers on a page. They represent real living creatures. They represent the health of our oceans, the diversity of our planet, and ultimately, the future of humanity. Because overfishing doesn't just affect marine life, it affects us all, from the coastal communities that depend on fishing for their livelihoods, to the millions who rely on fish as a primary source of protein. These figures are a wake-up call, signaling that we must act now. The repercussions of overfishing extend far beyond just our dinner plates. Let's begin with biodiversity. Just as a diverse portfolio can protect your investments, biodiversity safeguards our ecosystems. When we overfish, we upset this delicate balance. Picture a fish species as a single thread in a complex interwoven tapestry. If we remove too many threads, the tapestry frays, and the entire ecosystem can unravel. Overfishing removes species from the ecosystem, triggering a chain reaction that can destabilize the entire marine environment. Next, let's talk about the food chain. The ocean's food chain is a complex, delicate, and interconnected web. Larger predatory fish feed on smaller fish, which in turn feed on even smaller creatures, and so on. When we deplete fish populations through overfishing, we disrupt this food chain. Imagine removing a link from a chain, the remaining links lose their connection and the chain falls apart. In the same way, the removal of a species from the food chain can lead to a domino effect, disrupting the balance and causing the collapse of the entire ecosystem. As we continue, let's not forget about the livelihoods dependent on fishing. In many coastal communities around the world, fishing is not just a job, it's a way of life. Overfishing depletes fish stocks, threatening the livelihoods of millions of people who rely on the industry for their income. When overfishing forces these people out of work, it can lead to economic instability and social unrest. In conclusion, overfishing is not just an environmental issue, but a social and economic one as well. It threatens our planet's biodiversity, disrupts the marine food chain, and jeopardizes the livelihoods of communities dependent on fishing. The domino effect of overfishing is a stark reminder of how interconnected our world truly is, and how our actions, even on a small scale, can have a profound impact on the balance of life on Earth. Clearly, the ripple effects of overfishing are vast and far-reaching. We must acknowledge our role in this crisis. Let's take a journey into the depths of human activities, which, believe it or not, are intricately linked to the ocean's well-being. The ocean's health isn't just about the fish, the coral reefs, or the marine life it houses. It's about us, too. Our actions, often driven by short-term benefits, have far-reaching impacts on the world below the waves. Consider unsustainable fishing practices. The allure of a quick buck can lead to overexploitation, where fish are caught at a faster rate than they can reproduce. Modern fishing methods are incredibly efficient, but this efficiency, when unchecked, can spell disaster for marine populations. It's like withdrawing money from a bank account faster than it can accrue interest. Sooner or later, the balance hits zero. And then there's our consumption habits. Our love for seafood is undeniable. From sushi to fish and chips, seafood is a staple in diets worldwide. But have we ever stopped to consider where our fish comes from? Is it farmed or wild caught? Is it from a sustainable source, or is it a species teetering on the brink of collapse? Our demand for seafood is a driving force behind overfishing. We, as consumers, hold a significant amount of power. The choices we make at the supermarket or the restaurant can either encourage sustainable fishing or contribute to the problem. And let's not overlook the impacts of pollution and climate change, both largely human-driven. Pollution can degrade marine habitats, making it more challenging for fish to survive and reproduce. Climate change, meanwhile, can alter ocean temperatures and acidity levels, disrupting the delicate balance marine life relies on. The reality is, our actions, our choices, and our behaviors play a significant role in the health of our oceans. We are part of the problem, but that also means we have the power to be part of the solution. Our actions are part of the problem, but they can also be part of the solution. It's not all doom and gloom. There are solutions to overfishing. Let's take a dive into the hopeful world of sustainable solutions and success stories that are turning the tide on overfishing. There are a myriad of strategies being employed worldwide, and we're going to explore a few of those today. First off, there's sustainable fishing. This practice respects the natural balance of the marine ecosystem, with fishers ensuring they only take what the ocean can replenish. In Alaska, for example, fishery management has been a shining success. The state has implemented strict regulations and a science-based approach to fishing, leading to healthy fish populations and a thriving fishing industry. Then we have marine protected areas, or MPAs. Think of these as national parks of the sea. They are designated regions where human activity is limited to protect marine biodiversity. The Great Barrier Reef Marine Park in Australia is a prime example. Covering an area larger than the United Kingdom, the park has helped to conserve and restore various species, including the green sea turtle and the humpback whale. Another strategy is the promotion of responsible seafood consumption. This involves encouraging consumers to choose seafood that has been sustainably sourced. In the United Kingdom, the Marine Conservation Society runs a Good Fish Guide, which helps consumers make informed choices about the seafood they buy. This has led to a significant increase in demand for sustainably sourced seafood, pushing commercial fisheries to adopt more sustainable practices. Now let's sail over to New Zealand, where the use of innovative technology has made a significant difference. They've implemented electronic monitoring systems on fishing vessels. These systems provide real-time data about fish populations and fishing practices, aiding in the enforcement of sustainable fishing regulations. And in the small West African nation of Namibia, they've taken a community-led approach to combat overfishing. Local communities manage their own marine resources, and the results have been astonishing. Fish populations are recovering, and the communities themselves are reaping the benefits, with increased income from sustainable fishing. Lastly, we can't forget about the role of international cooperation in addressing overfishing. The United Nations has been instrumental in facilitating agreements between nations to manage fish stocks that span international waters. These agreements have led to significant reductions in overfishing in areas such as the Northeast Atlantic. These stories prove that with the right actions, we can turn the tide on overfishing. From sustainable fishing practices in Alaska to marine protected areas in Australia, responsible seafood consumption in the UK, innovative technology in New Zealand, community-led initiatives in Namibia, and international cooperation through the United Nations, we see that when we respect and protect our oceans, they have an amazing capacity to bounce back. It's a hopeful reminder that it's never too late to start making a difference. You may be wondering, what can I do to help? Well, you'll be glad to know there are many ways you can make a difference. Your actions, no matter how small, can play a significant role in saving our oceans. Let's start with something simple: your seafood choices. When you sit down for a meal, the choices you make can impact the health of our oceans. Make it a point to support sustainable seafood. You can do this by choosing seafood that is certified as sustainable by a reputable organization. Many restaurants and grocery stores now offer sustainably sourced seafood options, so keep an eye out for them. And remember, it's not just about what you eat, but also how much. Reducing your seafood consumption can greatly help in limiting the demand that drives overfishing. But what if you're not a big seafood eater? Don't worry, there are still ways you can contribute. Spreading awareness about the issue of overfishing is a powerful way to help. You'd be surprised how many people are unaware of this global problem. So, start a conversation. Share what you've learned with your friends, family, and social media followers. Encourage them to make sustainable seafood choices and to spread the word further. The ripple effect of awareness can do wonders. Another way to contribute is by supporting organizations that fight against overfishing. These groups work tirelessly to protect our oceans, enforcing regulations and promoting sustainable fishing practices. Your donations, whether monetary or in-kind, can help these organizations continue their crucial work. You may also consider volunteering your time. Many of these organizations rely on volunteers to help with their various initiatives. Whether it's participating in a beach cleanup, helping with fundraising events, or even lending your skills to their operations, your time can make a huge difference. Lastly, use your voice to advocate for stronger regulations and policies against overfishing. Write to your local representatives, sign petitions, and participate in peaceful protests. Let your leaders know that the health of our oceans is a priority for you. Now you might be thinking, can my actions really make a difference? The answer is a resounding yes. It's easy to underestimate the power of individual action. But remember, change often starts with one person deciding to do something. If each of us takes even a few of these steps, imagine the collective impact we could have. So let's get started. Choose sustainable seafood. Reduce your seafood consumption. Spread the word about overfishing. Support organizations working to protect our oceans. Volunteer your time. Advocate for stronger regulations. Remember, every action counts. It's time to step up and be the change we wish to see in our oceans.